Hello YouTube, this is Chris from ECHSTeamMILE giving you a deck tech video on my Watt deck. This is the first video I've uploaded on my Watt deck, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I run in it and how it works. We're going to start off with the only tuners in the deck, 2 Watt Foxes. I'm not sure if they're hard to see on your screen, but these are the tuners that you use for Watt Camara, and I'll show you later on. I'm just going to go ahead and give a run through and then I'll tell you how it works. So 2 Watt Foxes. The main cards of the deck, the 3 Watt Hoppers. Okay. Now you have the search cards, 3 Watt Dragonflies. More of they special summon a Watt to the field when they're destroyed by a battle or card effect. 3 Watt Hoppers. Allows you to bring, when it attacks directly, and it can for 1,000, you can bring a Watt from your deck to your hand. This whole deck is about attacking directly. It's actually a fun setup, and it can annoy your opponent greatly. This video probably will be about 10 to 15 minutes because I'm going to go into detail about every card. 3 Watt Pheasants. They can attack directly, and when they do, you can remove from play a face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field till the end phase. So say they have an XYZ with materials underneath it, or a pesky Stardust. You can remove them from play, do what you want, and now they lose their materials, and they can't protect themselves with the Stardust effect. Right now I have 1. I need to get 2 more. Watt Giraffe. It is the most expensive monster in this deck, and it's $7, and it comes in the Photon Shockwave. I think it's sort of pointless that this card would be worth so much, but it's okay, I guess. It's a 1200 attack. This is your highest attack among all the Watts, and it can attack directly, and when it does, your opponent can activate spells, traps, or monster effects till the end of the battle phase. Alright, so that's the Watts. Moving on to the other cards. Run 2 Thunder King. Now even though you do bring cards to your hand with Watt Cobra, I feel that he's pretty good for negating the special summon of monsters, and if you pull him out first turn, you can really just shut down whatever your opponent's chain they're trying to build up on is. 1 Lava Golem. This works well with swords or Messenger of Peace, and you use it to lock down the game mostly. And 1 Zaborg the Thunder Monarch. It's a Thunder type also, and when it's tribute summoned successfully, you get to destroy 1 monster on the field, pointless of position. So, a pretty decent card. On to the staples of the deck. Reborn, Heavy, Dark Hole, and Moon. Simple. Put them in just about every deck. 1 for 1. You use this for Watt Hopper. You normal summon 1, and then you'll 1 for 1 the next one. And I'll tell you why he's the main card of the deck. You'll understand. I run 2 Duality. I feel that if you run 3, it can get a little cloggy. You draw into it a lot, and you don't need that. 2 Swords. Because this is low attacks, and you're just attacking directly, 1,000, 1,200 each turn. You need this for protection for when you don't have much. Also, it's good with Lava Golem. And then 3 Messenger of Pieces, because every single card in this deck is 1,400 attack or less. That is a Watt, except for these 3, which most of the time you just use for shutting down their side of the field. Lava Golem, tribute to one of their monsters. Zaborg, destroy one of their monsters. And Thunder King, negate a special summon, and they can't bring cards to their hand. Then I run 2 Starlight Roads for the Watt Hopper support, which I will get into. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole for any high attack monsters they're going to get out. It's also good for Rescue Rabbit into 2 Kabazuls. You activate Bottomless, and both of their monsters are bottomless. Pretty decent. 2 Solemn Warnings. Just put that in any deck. It's good overall. and then a Mirror Force. I don't like Solemn Judgment. I don't find many situations where I wish I had Solemn Judgment, and I feel Mirror Force serves a way better position. I've tried it with Solemn Judgment, and usually it's just a dead draw for me. That's it for the deck, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you how it works now. These are all support: Swords, Mirror Force, Solemn, Bottomless. These are all just support and stall cards for waiting for you to get your setup on the field. Messenger of Peace works with just about every card in this deck, and it annoys the crap out of your opponent when it gets it on, because recently people have stopped maining MST, as I am here, and it leads for an easy first game win, because you get this, and if they're not running Lilas or Raikos, or they don't have anything that destroys by card effect, then they're just at a standstill. Plus, you compare that with Watt Hopper. As I've been saying before, this is the main card of the deck. Its effect is, when this card is on the field, you cannot select another Watt monster as an attack target or target them with card effects. So if you get 2, it's called a Hopper Lock. You get 2 on the field. The only thing they can do is use cards like Torrential, Dark Hole, Mirror Force. Cards that don't target. Smashing Ground works, but the main cards that people main in their deck are those ones, and that's why you run the Starlight Roads, to negate those and bring out your Stardust Dragon. So pretty much the objective of the deck is to get out the Watt Hoppers through special summoning with this guy. My favorite thing to do is probably, if you have nothing, if you don't have any of your attack directlies, Watt Cobra, Watt Pheasant, and Watt Giraffe all attack directly. If you have nothing and all you have is this guy, and it's your turn, and you have a Messenger piece up or a Swords, you have your own protection system going, you take this guy, you attack into your opponent's monster, have it destroyed because it's only a 900 attack. Then it allows you to search through your deck and pull out another, special summon another Watt monster, and since it's still the battle phase, you can attack directly with that monster, one of these. Plus you get their effect with Watt Cobra, then you add another Watt to your hand, and it starts off a chain where you can get a way better setup. So I recommend that situation. If you need to, you would want to do that. Watt Cobra, as I said, when it attacks directly, you get to add a Watt from your deck to your hand. It's pretty decent. You don't get that effect with Thunder King on the field, but I usually don't run into that combo, and Thunder King is just an overall good card, and because he's Thunder, he just goes well with the deck. I thought about running Solidarity once before, but I found that it slowed down the deck, and I did not need the attack, considering I had the Messenger pieces up, and it hurt me. Watt Foxes. You use these to tune. You have a few options. You can go for a 6, you can go for an 8, you can go for a 7. That's just about it. I don't run a 4. I mean, the only 4s I can think of are like Fabled Unicorn, but that's about it for the Synchro Summoning, and then the Starlight Roads. I usually don't like the Synchro for Stardust, considering I have this card for it. Okay, the Pots, simple. You don't special summon that often with this deck. The only card that allows you to special summon is Watt Dragonfly. So you don't usually run into that double entendre. Oh, and 1-for-1 is a special summon card. Staples, pretty simple, down to the point. And that's the deck. I'll show you the extra deck and why I use some of the cards in it. Okay, that's not the extra deck, this is. Alright, in the extra deck, I run the 1 Gemnite Pearl, because as you can see, there's 3, 6, 9, 11 4-stars in this deck. So I run a Gemnite Pearl and 2 Utopias. If I don't have a Messenger piece or a Swords up, you go into Utopia to negate attacks and save your butt until you get a better field. Have 1 Scarred Warrior. I actually don't think I need to run this guy in this deck. I can't even see how I would get a 5. I could use the Watt Hoppers for Synchro Summoning, but I just don't like to use them at all. I just like to use them to block up the field and attack. the main reason of the deck, if I haven't said it already, is you block up the field with 2 of these guys. They can't target you with anything, and then you just keep attacking them directly with these 3 guys. So, anyway, Watt Chimera, probably the best synchro in this deck that works well. I need to get another one. I probably will soon. Its effect is, and the best thing is all the watts are 1500 or less, including the synchro. It's a 1400 attack. It allows it to attack directly, and when it does, you take a card from their hand, you place it on top of their deck. So if they cannot play a card, if they have a card that they can't play or set on the field, and it's their only one in their hand, you could just keep putting that card back on top of their deck, and they can't do anything. So, plus, with Thunder King Ryo on the field, they can't add cards from their deck to their hand, so it's just a never-ending cycle. An Iron Chain Snake, just because it's a good 6-star, 2500 beater with a good effect. I have not pulled him out in my Watt deck yet, but I run him. I usually always go for Watt Chimera, and it's usually game by then. Then you got the Black Rose. You need a Black Rose in every deck, just to wipe the field whenever it's needed. And then the Double Stardust for the Double Starlight Road. And that's the deck, guys. I'll show you the side deck right now, and I'll tell you why I use those cards. But overall, good deck, and I recommend it to anyone who wants to have fun. It's pretty cheap. This card's $7. Every other card in this deck besides the Starlight Roads, I mean, that's $1. That's $1. I'm doing this because Nathan said that we should include prices. These are each like $3. Everything else in here, that's $10 and that's $5. And they're both $5. But everything else in here is $2 or less, and should be pretty easy to find. The only one I'm having trouble with is the Watt Giraffe. If anyone has a Watt Giraffe and they're willing to trade, go ahead and message me or post a comment, and we'll see if we can get something done. Moving on, this is the side deck. I run 1 Puppet Plant. I always run 1 Puppet Plant in my side deck because I feel at my regionals or my locals, since 6 Samurai deck is pretty cheap to make, a lot of people like to run it, so I sided a Puppet Plant for them. If I'm playing machines, Karakuri, Machina, I'll side in the System Down, and it could just wreck up their field. 2 Shadow Imprisoning for Inzectors or Chaos, if I need to. Also for Lightsworn, Dragonsworn, or Dino Rabbit, use Electric Virus, and I will take over their Dolka, their Lagia, and remove all its stuff. And then triple MST, you always need to side this in because they're always going to be siding in a Light Imprisoning Mirror unless they're running lights there on their own. So you need to count that in, and then always side in double Prohibition because you've seen their deck and you need to stop its main cards. If you're playing E-Hero, you side in Snowman Eater to destroy those big beaters. And if you're playing anything that is graveyard heavy, anything that relies around the graveyard, 2 DD Crows. I will be putting in, instead of DD Crows, Macrocosmos in this deck. But anyway, that's the deck. Any questions, any suggestions, anyone got Watt Giraffe to trade, anyone want to buy any of the cards from this deck, I'm willing to sell any card in the deck. Just name the price and I'll tell you if it's okay. This has been Chris from ECHSTeamMILE signing out. Thank you for watching the video, and sorry if it was too long. Good night.